1. Listen carefully. This moment is not a coincidence. Heaven has pressed pause on everything around you so that this word could reach you. Every rejection, every disappointment, every unanswered prayer that left you questioning your worth was never meant to destroy you. It was divine redirection. You were never rejected. You were being guided into something higher, something holier, something heaven had reserved for your name alone. You remember the times when doors slammed in your face, when people turned cold without reason, when your heart was left bruised by goodbyes that made no sense. But in those moments, the unseen hand of God was still at work. While you mourned what you thought you lost, heaven was celebrating what you had just been rescued from. You cried over closed doors, not realizing that they were protecting you from counterfeit blessings that could have cost your destiny. Chosen one, hear this truth: what you called rejection was God's redirection. What you thought was delay was divine protection. The very people who walked away were never assigned to your next level. Their absence created space for heaven's purpose to unfold. You are not behind. You are on schedule. You are not forgotten. You are being refined. There were nights you questioned your purpose, asking, why me? Why can't it just work out? But heaven saw what you couldn't. If that relationship had continued, your peace would have died. If that door had stayed open, your growth would have been stunted. If that opportunity had succeeded, pride might have destroyed what purity had built. Rejection was not punishment, it was preservation. God was steering you through pain toward promise. You may not understand it now, but one day you will look back and see how perfectly every detour led you home. Every no was heaven's way of saying, not this one. Every delay was an act of mercy. Every betrayal was a release. The silence was not absence, it was strategy. You were being positioned, trained, and strengthened for an assignment that requires endurance, not applause. The Spirit of God revealed through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. That verse is the seal over your life. God's plan has never been to harm you. Even when everything seemed to crumble, His intention was always restoration. He was removing what could not stay to make room for what could carry you. The rejection wasn't random, it was required. Without it, you would have settled for less than divine. So rise again, shake off the dust of doubt and lift your head. You are not disqualified. You are chosen. The same God who allowed the storm is the one guiding you through it. You are walking through a redirection that leads to revelation. Soon, you'll see that you didn't lose anything meant for you. Everything meant for you is finding its way back in divine timing. This is your reminder: heaven has never abandoned you. You were being hidden, not forgotten, protected, not rejected, redirected, not dismissed. The pain that confused you was the very thing that kept you from disaster. You may have felt left behind, but you were being led higher. Every ending you faced was a holy edit, God rewriting your story so it would read in His glory, not your grief. If these words stir something in your spirit, pause for a moment. Like this message, share it with someone who has felt overlooked, and subscribe to stay connected to this flow of divine truth. Then comment 777 below as a prophetic sign that you trust God's direction over your own understanding. You were never rejected. You were redirected. And the redirection was love in disguise. You stand now on sacred ground, the place where rejection transforms into revelation. Heaven did not withhold. It rerouted. Every delay was divine timing forming your strength. The pain that once silenced you will soon speak powerfully through your testimony. Your story is not ending. It is unfolding. The same God who redirected your path is preparing open doors that no man can shut. What once looked like loss will soon look like strategy written by divine hands of mercy. Trust the unseen guidance. Every detour is an invitation to deeper faith. You were never meant to follow the crowd, you were chosen to walk uncommon roads, carrying a light that darkness cannot comprehend. So step forward with courage. The past cannot define you. Rejection cannot confine you. And fear cannot claim you. You are walking in divine direction now, and every step ahead is soaked in purpose and grace. You remember the moments when silence felt louder than words. The seasons where you showed up for people who vanished when you needed them most. The nights you prayed and nothing seemed to shift. The rejection cut deep, not just from strangers, but from the very ones you loved, trusted, and believed would never turn away. Yet through every ache, heaven was whispering, "This is not the end. This is the redirection." You were misunderstood because your spirit was speaking a language the world around you could not translate. You walked into rooms that could not hold your anointing, into circles that were comfortable with your past but intimidated by your potential. They couldn't see what God was forming in you because divine preparation often looks like divine isolation. The rejection wasn't proof that you were unworthy, it was proof that you were set apart. There are times heaven hides you in plain sight. You stand among many but feel unseen, wondering why you keep being overlooked. But chosen ones are not designed for validation. They are designed for destiny. While others chase attention, you are being shaped for alignment. You were removed from some tables not because you lacked value, but because you carried too much weight for small talk and shallow hearts. Every misunderstood season carries a hidden blessing. The loneliness you feel is not emptiness, it's space being cleared for something sacred. When heaven redirects, it does so with precision. You were moved out of what was familiar to make room for the unfamiliar favor that's coming. You are being taught to depend on what cannot be seen, to trust what cannot yet be touched. That is the lesson of the misunderstood season. It forces your roots to grow deeper, unseen, preparing for the bloom that will be undeniable. In those quiet spaces, where your prayers seem to echo back unanswered, remember this: silence is not absence. Silence is the sound of heaven rearranging things behind the scenes. God is removing what can't go with you into your next chapter. He is pruning connections that served their purpose. You were never meant to stay where understanding was limited. The people who failed to see your worth could not stop what heaven already ordained. You might not see it yet, but the rejection you faced was divine redirection disguised as disappointment. Every door that closed preserved your purity. Every friendship that faded protected your focus. Every not yet from God was a shield from destruction. You have cried over what you lost, not realizing that heaven was sparing you from counterfeit peace. The divine truth revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 9. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. That is the mystery of divine redirection. You plan your route, but heaven adjusts your path. The shift you didn't understand was not rejection, it was correction. Every closed door was heaven's hand steering you away from danger. You were not denied, you were divinely rerouted. You are walking a path hand-drawn by grace, not guided by mistake. Chosen one, your life carries a frequency not everyone can hear. The same light that attracts the broken also exposes the false. That is why you've been misunderstood. It's not that you did something wrong, but that you shine in a realm that unsettles those living in shadows. There's a sacred loneliness that follows the anointed, but it's not meant to destroy you. It's meant to define you. You are being refined in hiddenness. The rejection is the wilderness between promise and fulfillment. You may not feel favored, but you are. The wilderness is not punishment. It's proof that God trusts you with the waiting. You are learning the sound of His voice, stripped of noise, stripped of applause, so that when the door opens, you will know exactly who sent it. There will come a time when everything makes sense, when the things that broke you will be the very stories that build others. You will see how every misunderstanding was divine misdirection, steering you away from chaos toward calling. The people who doubted you will witness the proof of divine orchestration in your life. But for now, you walk by faith, not by sight. Hold this truth close: God doesn't reject, He redirects. Every unanswered prayer is an answer in disguise. Every delay is alignment. Every loss is a seed of something greater. Heaven is weaving every thread, every tear, every betrayal, every closed door into a masterpiece that will one day leave you speechless. You are not abandoned. You are in transit. You are being delivered from the temporary into the eternal. One day you will realize that the rejection you once cursed was the very thing that carried you into your calling. For now, keep walking. Heaven is watching over every step, transforming pain into purpose and silence into strategy. You have carried rejection like a scar, quiet but heavy. You've smiled in public while bleeding in private, wondering if God had forgotten the sound of your voice. You've asked Him why certain people could walk away so easily, why doors you prayed for seemed to shut the moment you knocked. But now heaven wants you to see what really happened. You were being redirected by design. The pain was never random. It was the steering of a divine hand. You see, rejection is never wasted in the life of the chosen. It becomes the fire that forges your discernment. Every no became a teacher. Every absence refined your dependence. Heaven used the very things that broke you to build a foundation unshakable by human opinion. There's a strength in you now that was born from what you survived, a faith that would never have grown had you been accepted everywhere you tried to fit. You thought their silence meant you failed. You thought their betrayal meant you were unworthy. But heaven saw the conversation they never spoke, the motives you couldn't see, the traps that were waiting ahead. You were pulled away not to punish you, but to preserve you. The rejection wasn't the end of favor, it was the redirection of it. We are taught by the Spirit through the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Those words are not distant history, they are your present reality. The same God who allowed certain doors to close is now aligning new ones in silence. What was meant to wound you will soon be your weapon. You are walking proof that divine redirection is grace in disguise. Every heartbreak is being recycled into healing. Every rejection letter has become a divine invitation to greater purpose. Chosen one, God never wastes pain. Every disappointment has been drafted into His plan. You may feel like pieces scattered on the floor, but heaven sees the whole picture forming. The moments that shattered you were meant to shake you awake. Because if you had been accepted in those places, you would have settled in comfort instead of stepping into calling. You were never meant to blend in, you were meant to break patterns. That's why rejection found you. Heaven had to disconnect you from imitation before releasing you into authenticity. You were never meant to follow the crowd, because the crowd cannot carry your cross. You were chosen to walk narrow roads where obedience echoes louder than applause. Sometimes, God hides favor inside of frustration. You see a closed door. He sees a redirected destiny. You feel abandoned. He's actually adjusting your alignment. You cry over what you lost. He celebrates what you're about to gain. Rejection was the classroom, and grace was your teacher. Every tear you shed became a seed of wisdom you will soon sow into others. The wilderness may feel like exile, but it is in that very wilderness that you learn how to hear the voice that truly matters. Heaven trains its warriors in isolation. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Every misunderstanding, every misstep, every moment of solitude has been heaven's way of rewiring your focus. Now, if this word touches the deep places of your spirit, comment "Still chosen" below. This is not just a phrase, it's a declaration. It means you refuse to define yourself by rejection. You define yourself by redemption. It means that despite the loss, despite the silence, you recognize that the call of God has not been canceled. When you type those two words, you are aligning your identity with heaven's truth. You are still chosen. You are not what you lost. You are what you learned. You are not the sum of rejections. You are the result of redirection. Heaven is still writing, and the next chapter of your story begins with this realization: nothing that left you was meant to stay, and nothing that's coming can be stopped. You are stepping into a season where rejection no longer defines you, it refines you. What once wounded you now becomes wisdom. Every ending is revealing the architecture of God's unseen redirection working perfectly. Heaven has been preparing a platform for your voice, one built not on approval but on authenticity. Every silence, every exile, every closed door has been divine construction shaping your strength for greater assignments ahead. So stand tall, still chosen and still becoming. The storms that tried to drown you have only taught you to breathe underwater. You're living proof that divine redirection always leads to divine restoration. There is a kind of breaking that feels like the end but is really the beginning. You know that feeling, the moment your heart shatters so completely you wonder how it will ever beat again. You think it's over, yet heaven calls it transformation. Every chosen one must walk through that kind of fire, because purpose is never born in comfort. It is birthed in crushing. You have been through the breaking. You've watched things you loved dissolve. You've buried dreams you thought would last forever. You've tried to rebuild what God Himself dismantled, only to find that nothing stands when heaven says move. But there is something sacred about that collapse. It strips you of illusion and reveals what cannot be taken. When everything else falls apart, what remains is your unshakable bond with the one who called you. In your crushing, heaven was not silent, heaven was sculpting. The weight you felt pressing against you was not meant to destroy you. It was designed to shape your spirit. Like clay in the hands of the potter, your life was being pressed into purpose. Every disappointment carved new depth into you. Every heartbreak created space for greater compassion. Every unanswered question trained you to hear in the quiet. The ancient promise found in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That is your proof you were never alone in the crushing. The presence of God was nearest in your lowest moments. While others only saw your pain, heaven saw your preparation. The tears you shed in secret were not wasted. They watered the soil of your next season. It is hard to understand when you are still bleeding, but brokenness is heaven's invitation to intimacy. When everything familiar disappears, you are finally free to discover what truly sustains you. That is why God allows the breaking to detach you from what could never fulfill you and to draw you closer to what truly can. Your broken heart becomes the doorway where divine love walks in. Do you remember the moments when you begged for something to stay? You prayed that the friendship wouldn't fade, that the job wouldn't end, that the relationship wouldn't collapse. You pleaded for preservation when heaven was offering protection. The very thing you tried to hold on to was the thing that would have hindered your growth. So, God let it fall apart not to punish you, but to free you. Every crushing carries the scent of resurrection. You may have lost something, but nothing truly eternal is ever gone. The same God who allowed the breaking has already written the rebuilding. Your broken pieces are not disqualified, they are destined. You are not ruined. You are being remade. The fragments of your story are coming together to form something stronger, something whole. Chosen one, heaven trusts you with pain because heaven knows what you carry inside. Diamonds are born under pressure. Olive oil flows only when the olive is crushed. In the same way, your anointing flows from the very areas that once ached. The crushing is not evidence of rejection, it is confirmation of capacity. God crushes what He intends to crown. And in this process, your faith matures. No longer based on blessings, it becomes rooted in knowing. You stop chasing signs and start listening to silence. You stop needing approval and start seeking purpose. The breaking turns you from a believer of convenience into a warrior of conviction. You begin to understand that real faith is not proven when you receive, it is proven when you remain. There is something divine about your scars. They no longer represent loss, but legacy. They speak of a God who brings beauty from ashes, a God who does not waste wounds. One day, others will touch those scars and find hope in your healing. You will tell them that the crushing did not kill you, it crowned you. That the breaking did not bury you, it built you. Now, as you breathe in this moment, let gratitude rise quietly within you. You made it through what was meant to destroy you. You are standing where you once thought you would fall. Heaven has turned your breaking into birthing, your pain into purpose, your rejection into redirection. You are not broken beyond repair, you are broken for rebuilding. You are proof that divine pressure produces divine power. The same force that once crushed you now fuels you to rise stronger, clearer, and deeply anchored in faith. Heaven has rewritten your breaking into beauty. What was once a wound has become wisdom, and every scar now shines as evidence of God's unstoppable restoration. Sometimes the doors that close make the loudest noise in your heart. They echo with why, with unfinished stories, with the sound of opportunities that slipped through your fingers. Yet what you once called loss was really a language heaven was speaking. Every no that hurt you was a holy word written in invisible ink, one that meant not here, not now, not this way. You see, rejection is not God's anger, it's His guidance. He is a careful architect. Every time He closes a door, He is building a wall to protect you from storms you cannot yet see. Sometimes the hand that blocks you is the same hand that blesses you. When heaven says no, it is never to withhold, it is always to redirect toward what will sustain you. Think of a closed door as a locked garden gate. On the other side, there are things not yet ripe. If you entered too early, the fruit would still be bitter, the soil too soft to carry your roots. So heaven locks the gate not to deny you the garden, but to let it grow until it can feed your destiny. The living word speaks in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. That means every door meant for you will open, not by human strength but by divine timing. Until then, the closed ones are not rejection, they are preservation. You are learning patience that builds peace, and peace that builds power. Heaven is teaching you to trust what you cannot yet touch. Chosen one, do not despise the doors that have shut in your face. They are not dead ends. They are divine delays. You are being rerouted to something greater. Heaven is not finished writing your story, it's simply flipping the page. Every locked door is a test of trust. Will you believe that God is still good when you don't get what you asked for? Will you still thank Him when your plan collapses? Faith is not proven by open doors. It is proven by how you wait at closed ones. And while you wait, remember this: closed doors teach clarity. They reveal what you truly desire, who truly belongs, and what truly matters. Without them, you would settle for comfort instead of calling. The no that broke your heart is the reason you'll soon stand in the yes that fits your soul. So breathe. Let go of the handle you've been pulling at for too long. If the door does not move, it's because what's behind it cannot hold you anymore. God will never let you fit into a space you've outgrown. You have prayed for expansion, so don't curse the closing that makes room for it. If this message has touched your spirit, take a small step of connection. Like this message, not as routine, but as a quiet nod to heaven, saying, "I heard you." Share it with someone still knocking on a closed door, so that light travels from your heart to theirs like a candle passing flame. Subscribe to stay close to these words of purpose, so that when heaven speaks again, your spirit will not miss the whisper. And now, a tender invitation if your heart feels stirred. Consider this not as a command, but as a seed of kindness. Donate as you would plant a small tree by a river. You may never see all who rest in its shade, but its roots will carry your compassion to places you will never go. Your giving is not payment, it is participation. It helps these words continue flowing like living water to weary hearts across the world. If you cannot give, your listening, your prayer, and your sharing are already gifts. What matters most is that this message moves through you, not just to you. So as you walk forward, let gratitude fill the space that disappointment once occupied. The same God who closed some doors has already written your name on the next one, and it will open softly, with peace instead of struggle. Every closed door was never your ending, it was heaven's redirection toward peace. The same walls that kept you out were secretly keeping danger away until purpose was ready. Now you walk lighter, carrying only faith and gratitude. You no longer chase what left, you wait for what's aligned. Destiny opens like morning light, quiet, certain, unstoppable. Your story isn't delayed, it's developing. Every pause has meaning, every silence holds seed. What once felt withheld will return multiplied, refined by time and released in perfect divine rhythm. You've walked through confusion and called it failure, but heaven called it rerouting. You've stood at crossroads where nothing made sense, where you questioned every decision and wondered if you somehow stepped outside of God's will. But even in those moments, His unseen hand was guiding you. You were not wandering aimlessly, you were being realigned. Every detour, every delay, every unexpected turn was a divine correction bringing you back to destiny's path. There are times when heaven's GPS doesn't show you the full route, it only reveals the next step. You wanted a map, God gave you a whisper. You wanted certainty, He gave you faith. That tension between wanting to know and being called to trust is where the chosen are trained. The silence you interpreted as rejection was actually divine navigation recalculating your route. Think back on all the times you thought you'd lost your way. You started something that fell apart. You pursued what you believed was right, only for it to collapse. You felt lost. But heaven was never confused. The shepherd never loses sight of his sheep, even when they wander into the wilderness. The path that seemed wrong was still woven into His right plan. The voice of wisdom speaks through the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verses 8 and 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, Neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Those words remind you that heaven's direction often feels like disorientation. God doesn't move according to your logic. He moves according to His love. You see fragments. He sees the full picture. You panic over a delay. He protects you from disaster. You mourn the closed road. He builds a new one through the wilderness. You may not understand the route, but you can trust the guide. God's navigation system doesn't need your permission, only your surrender. Every time He redirected you, it was because your heart was too precious to be placed in unsafe hands. You were never being denied. You were being delivered. There were times when everything seemed still, as though heaven had forgotten you. But the silence was not abandonment, it was adjustment. Heaven was recalibrating your timing. If you had received what you wanted when you wanted it, it would have crushed you. The pause was not punishment, it was preparation. You may feel frustrated, wondering why you keep circling the same lessons, the same patterns, the same closed doors. But the truth is, each cycle was teaching you to listen more closely, to move with the wind instead of against it. God's redirection doesn't come to confuse, it comes to clarify. He's not making your journey longer. He's ensuring you arrive whole. Chosen one, you are not lost. You are being led by coordinates only heaven can read. What you call delay is divine GPS recalculating your route in real time. Every wrong turn is being rewritten into revelation. You are still on track, still in alignment, still under divine direction. And sometimes, what feels like going backward is actually moving forward in disguise. God will lead you through detours that protect you from unseen storms. He will remove people, change opportunities, shift your surroundings, not because He's cruel, but because He cares too deeply to let you settle in the wrong place. One day soon, you will look back and realize the path made perfect sense. The moments that made you cry will become the markers that remind you how far grace carried you. The doors that closed taught you to knock on heaven's instead. The silence trained your ears to recognize His whisper. So breathe. You are not where you used to be, and you are not where you'll end up. You are in motion, even when it feels like standing still. Heaven's GPS doesn't glitch, it guides with purpose. You have not missed it. You are right on time. Now, as a prophetic act of trust, comment 5FP5 below. That number symbolizes divine transition, grace multiplied, change divinely ordered. When you type it, you are declaring, I trust the reroute. It's not superstition, it's symbolism. You are aligning your spirit with the flow of heaven's direction, choosing faith over fear, surrender over control. Let this truth settle deep within you. The same God who began the journey will finish it. He does not misplace His chosen ones. Even when you can't trace His hand, you can trust His heart. The detours are not distractions, they are deliverance. And soon, what once confused you will become your greatest confirmation that you were never lost, only led. There comes a moment in every chosen life when the noise fades and the silence becomes your only companion. You look around and realize the crowd is gone. The familiar faces have drifted away, and what once felt comfortable now feels foreign. It is the wilderness season, the place where distractions die and destiny is born. You did not wander there by accident. Heaven led you into it. The wilderness has a purpose. It strips away everything unnecessary, everything false, everything that would weigh you down for the journey ahead. In that barren place, you come face to face with your dependence, your fears, and your faith. It is where the surface versions of you are peeled away until only truth remains. It is not a punishment, it is purification. You may feel isolated, misunderstood, and forgotten. But you are not forgotten. You are being formed. The wilderness is heaven's classroom. There, the noise of the world fades so you can finally hear the voice that matters. When you lose the approval of people, you gain the attention of God. The loneliness that feels heavy is actually holy. It's the sacred stillness where purpose grows. Heaven still whispers through the words of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 2. Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years, to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart. That is why you are here. Not because you failed, but because heaven trusts you enough to test you. God is not exposing you to shame you. He is revealing you to strengthen you. The wilderness reveals what applause once concealed. It shows you whether your faith depends on feelings or on truth. Chosen one, understand this solitude is not the same as separation. The people may have left, but the presence has not. God walks with you through the silence. Every unanswered prayer is echoing with his strategy. Every tear you've cried in solitude has watered the seeds of something new. The wilderness is not empty, it's alive with preparation. You've been asking, when will this end? But heaven replies when you are ready. The wilderness has no clock, it has a purpose. It will last only until your spirit has learned to lean completely on God. You are being trained to trust timing that isn't human, to depend on provision that isn't predictable. You are being taught to walk by faith when your eyes see only desert. The wilderness exposes false dependencies. It reveals where you've placed your confidence in people, in plans, in outcomes, and gently shifts it back to the source. God allows seasons of lack so that when abundance comes, your gratitude is pure and your foundation is stable. What you learn here will sustain you when the next door opens. Don't despise the hidden season. Some of the greatest miracles are birthed in quiet places. Moses was called in the wilderness. David was anointed in obscurity. Even Jesus was tested there. You walk in their footsteps now, not as punishment, but as preparation. When the time comes, you will emerge not only changed, but charged with divine authority. You are learning to survive without the validation of others. You are learning that your value is not tied to visibility. You are learning that God's silence is not rejection, it's strategy. Every moment you spend in stillness sharpens your discernment. Every unanswered prayer strengthens your endurance. The wilderness is not empty space, it's holy ground where heaven meets your heart. When you come out of this, you won't recognize yourself. The pain that once drained you will no longer have power over you. The fear that once controlled you will bow to faith. The wilderness that once confused you will become your testimony of transformation. You will realize that heaven didn't leave you there, it lived there with you, teaching you to see in the dark. And when your season shifts, when the silence finally breaks, you'll carry something that cannot be taught, spiritual authority born in solitude. You'll speak and storms will listen, because you learned to hear God when no one else was talking. You'll lead with compassion because you remember what isolation felt like. You'll walk in confidence, not because of applause, but because you know who was walking beside you all along. So breathe in the stillness. This is your training ground. Heaven hasn't forgotten you, it's finishing you. The wilderness will not last forever, but the strength you gain here will. Let it shape you, let it stretch you, and let it silence every lie that said you were alone. You are not lost in the wilderness, you are being written into the promise. Fire is never comfortable, yet it is always purposeful. You may not realize it, but you've been walking through a refining season, a spiritual fire that does not come to consume, but to clarify. Every chosen one must face the flame because purity is not proven in blessing. It's proven in burning. The refining fire of heaven is not punishment, it's preparation. You have felt the heat in different forms. Betrayal that stung deeper than words. Sudden loss that left your heart raw. Delays that stretched your patience until it broke. You asked, why me, not realizing that God was not punishing you, He was purifying you. The refining process is heaven's way of burning away what cannot go with you into the next dimension of purpose. It removes the excess, the pride, the fear, the dependence on others' approval. There is beauty in this burning, even when it feels unbearable. Just as gold must pass through the furnace to reveal its true brilliance, so must you pass through seasons that strip you to your essence. God knows exactly how long the fire should last, no more, no less. He never leaves you inside it without His presence beside you. As revealed through the prophet in the book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 10. See, I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. Those words are not distant, they describe your now. Heaven has been watching over your refining. The flames that felt destructive were actually divine hands shaping your resilience. You were not being broken, you were being brightened. The impurities of fear, doubt, and insecurity were being melted away so your true identity in God could shine. In the midst of the fire, you may have felt forsaken. The silence of heaven during your struggle made you question whether He was still near. But silence is often the sound of refining, its heaven's focus at work. When a jeweler refines gold, he watches carefully, removing the impurities, waiting until he can see his reflection in the metal. That is what God is doing with you. The fire will end when His image is clearly seen in your life. Chosen one. This season is not destroying you, it's defining you. The fire you're walking through is revealing the difference between what is temporary and what is eternal. The opinions of people can't survive this heat. False motives and shallow attachments burn away. Only what is pure remains: faith, love, endurance, truth. These are the treasures refined in flame. You might look around and see ashes, but heaven sees a foundation. The things you lost were never meant to last. They were scaffolding for your growth. Fire removes the unnecessary so that strength can stand alone. What remains after this will not crumble again because it has been tested. The refining process also reveals your hidden strength. You have survived days that would have crushed others. You have walked through storms still standing, not because you're perfect, but because purpose refused to let you fall. That resilience is not your own. It's divine evidence that heaven's hand has been holding you steady through every wave of heat. Remember this: God never tests to expose weakness. He tests to reveal worth. You are not being reduced. You are being revealed. Every trial is a mirror, showing you what has been inside you all along: courage, patience, endurance, faith. When the refining is complete, you won't just shine, you'll illuminate others. Your story will become a torch for those still walking through the flames. One day, you will thank God for this fire. You will see that the heat forged wisdom in you that could never have come from ease. You will recognize that the pain that almost broke you became the process that built you. The refining fire is temporary, but the strength it produces is eternal. So stand still in the flame. Don't resist the work it's doing. Let it burn away the false so that the truth can rise. The same fire that hurt you will soon honor you. The same heat that tested you will testify of your endurance. You are not being consumed, you are being completed. And when you emerge, you will not smell like smoke. You will carry the scent of survival. the fragrance of faith refined by fire. The world will see your glow, but only heaven will know how many flames you walked through to carry it. You have endured the flame and found your form. The heat did not erase you, it revealed you. What remains now is gold, unshakable, radiant, and ready for divine assignment. There are moments when people walk away and it feels like your heart is being torn in two. The weight of their absence feels unbearable, and you start to believe that you were not enough. You replay the memories, the conversations, the good intentions that somehow turned into distance. You ask yourself what you did wrong, not realizing that their departure was heaven's direction. When people leave, it is not always loss, it is often liberation. There were those who could not walk with you any further because their assignment in your story had ended. God allowed their exit not to harm you, but to heal you. You had to lose what was unstable so you could stand on what was unshakable. Sometimes heaven closes the chapter before you're ready to stop reading. You are still trying to hold on to what was, while God is calling you toward what will be. It hurts when people you trusted fade away. You remember the promises they made, the loyalty they swore, the love they professed. Yet one day, without warning, they were gone. But what feels like abandonment is often alignment. God removed them because they could not see where you were going. The next version of you could not survive their misunderstanding. According to the sacred record of Genesis, chapter 50, verse 20, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Those words capture the heart of redirection. What others meant for harm, heaven turned for healing. The betrayal was painful, yes, but it was also prophetic. Every time someone walked away, heaven whispered, "You don't need them to get there." Rejection was heaven's red carpet to your next revelation. Chosen one. God knows what you don't. He saw the conversations you weren't part of, the motives you didn't discern, the plans that were forming behind your back. Their departure protected you from deception. Sometimes the greatest blessing comes disguised as goodbye. You thought you lost support, but you gained sovereignty. You thought you were abandoned, but you were actually accelerated. Let this truth settle in your spirit: no one who left was supposed to stay. If they could walk away, they were never anchored to your destiny. The people meant to walk with you will recognize your growth, not resent it. They will celebrate your rising, not compete with it. You don't have to chase what walked away when heaven is sending what will stay. You may still feel the ache of absence, the quiet rooms where laughter used to live. But every empty space is being filled with new grace. God never subtracts without the intention to multiply. He is not punishing you. He is pruning you. The hands that left your life created room for the hands. Heaven is preparing to hold you up. You have not been abandoned. You have been advanced. The ones who misunderstood you were never meant to understand your mission. The ones who betrayed you only revealed their capacity. God does not expose to embarrass. He exposes to elevate. Those who left released you from smallness. Now you are free to expand into the fullness of who you are becoming. Every ending has divine mathematics hidden inside it. Subtraction always precedes multiplication. Before the crowd grows, there must be pruning. Before the next blessing arrives, there must be clearing. Heaven is making space for the right connections, the ones that will not compete with your calling but complement it. The pain of their absence is real, but so is the promise that followed it. You are learning to thank God for the exits as much as for the entrances. Every goodbye carries grace, every loss carries learning, and every rejection carries redirection. Heaven never takes without intending to replace always with something better, purer, and prepared. So take this moment to release the weight of who left. Don't curse the ones who walked away, bless them. They were part of your refinement, part of your awakening, part of your transformation. Without their absence, you would not have found your alignment. And as a symbol of that release, comment, "I forgive them" below. These 3 words carry power. They declare that bitterness no longer rules your heart. They mark the moment when you trade offense for obedience, pain for peace, and rejection for redirection. When you type those words, you are not excusing their actions, you are freeing your soul to move forward unbound. Let this truth echo inside you: what left your life was never stronger than what remains. The people who left were never greater than the God who stayed. Sometimes what you call a delay is not denial. It's divine choreography. Heaven has been arranging the details of your life like a composer layering music. One instrument rests while another rises, yet the melody remains perfect. You only hear fragments, but God hears the full song. Every pause, every wait, every seeming setback is part of a greater harmony that leads you exactly where you are meant to be. There were moments you felt forgotten, as though life moved forward without you. But nothing about your journey has been wasted. Every silent season was sacred space for your roots to grow deeper. You were not standing still, you were taking root beneath the surface, where no one could see but heaven was still watching. Destiny's detours are not detours at all, they are divine directions disguised as delay. The longer the preparation, the greater the revelation. God has been aligning details, timing, and hearts in ways that your human vision could never calculate. The dream hasn't died, it has been deepening. The voice of truth speaks through the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 11. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. Those words are not poetic coincidence, they are promise. Heaven works within time but is never bound by it. The beauty you long for is already taking shape. It just hasn't reached its appointed moment. You are not forgotten, you are in formation. Chosen one, you may not realize it. But this waiting season is heaven's workshop. You are being refined, strengthened, and stretched. Every unanswered prayer is a thread being woven into a tapestry that will one day make perfect sense. You are learning trust, patience, and resilience, qualities no comfort could ever teach. Picture your life as a seed underground. For a long time, it seems nothing is happening. The soil is dark, the air is tight, and no sunlight reaches you. But the seed isn't dead, it's breaking open, pushing downward before it ever pushes upward. Growth begins in darkness. What feels like burial is actually planting. And when the moment comes, your breakthrough will not be a sudden explosion, it will be a gentle unfolding, like petals opening toward the morning sun. Everything you prayed for is on its way, not as a reward, but as a reflection of who you have become while waiting. If this message resonates with you, take a simple moment of connection. Like this message as a quiet acknowledgement of faith, as though you're lighting a candle in your spirit, whispering, "I still trust." Share it with someone still waiting, someone who feels the promise has passed them by. Let your sharing become a bridge, carrying light into another soul's night. Subscribe to remain close to these words that water faith and remind you of divine timing. Let each message meet you in the perfect moment, the way rain finds thirsty soil. And if your heart feels stirred in gratitude, consider a gentle act of giving, not as duty, but as devotion. Donate as one would plant a small olive tree in dry ground. You may never see all who rest in its shade, but heaven will use your seed to grow comfort for others. When you give, you are not paying, you are partnering. You help the message flow farther, reaching the heart still waiting in silence. If giving isn't possible, your prayer, your attention, your quiet reflection are already offerings of light. This connection is not built by money, it is built by meaning, by faith shared freely between hearts. So be at peace in this divine delay. Trust that heaven's clock never runs late. The same God who started your journey is orchestrating its next chapter. You are standing at the edge of arrival, even if your eyes can't yet see it. The waiting has been your training, and the silence has been sacred. When the door opens, it will swing wide without struggle. When the call comes, it will sound like peace. And when you finally see what heaven has been preparing all along, you'll realize the delay was not denial, it was love disguised as timing. Every pause in your journey has been a paragraph in heaven's story. The silence that once scared you was really the sound of timing ripening into beauty. Now the waiting feels lighter. You understand that delay is not distance, that hidden seasons are sacred ground where roots drink deeply from unseen streams of grace. Soon, everything will unfold softly without striving. What you thought was lost will reappear renewed. Divine timing will arrive like sunrise, quiet, certain, filling every shadow with purpose. Grace has a strange way of finding you in the shadows, when everything you built crumbles, when your prayers echo unanswered, when your faith trembles between holding on and giving up. That is where grace begins to speak. It doesn't shout. It whispers through quiet strength, reminding you that even in confusion you are still covered. Grace does not wait for your perfection. It meets you in your pain and rebuilds from the inside out. You've walked through valleys that felt endless, through nights that stretched longer than your strength. You questioned heaven, wondering why everything you touched seemed to fall apart. But even there, mercy was working. It wasn't loud or obvious, it was hidden beneath the weight of your exhaustion. Grace is not the absence of struggle, it is the breath that carries you through it. When the world saw only your breaking, heaven saw your becoming. Grace was wrapping around the places that guilt and shame tried to claim. You may not have recognized it, but grace stood beside you when everything else fell silent. It stood guard when your spirit collapsed and whispered, "Still, you are mine." The ancient words recorded in the book of Psalms, chapter 23 on verse 4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. That is not just poetry, it's promise. The valley was never meant to be your grave. It was your classroom. You were not buried, you were being planted in soil rich with lessons. Grace was not only protecting you, but preparing you. The shadow did not mean absence, it meant proximity. For shadows only exist where there is still light nearby. You are learning that grace does not erase scars, it transforms them. The very wounds that once bled now speak of healing. What once caused you to weep now teaches you wisdom. Grace has been molding your heart into a vessel that can carry more compassion, more empathy, more understanding. You have been learning how to hold pain without being consumed by it, how to love again without fear, and how to stand when everything in you wanted to kneel in defeat. There were days you thought you had failed God, that maybe you had wandered too far to be found again. But grace does not keep score, it keeps coming. It finds you in your lowest moments, when your own strength has given up, and carries you with hands that do not shake. You are still standing not because you were strong enough, but because grace refused to let you fall. Grace is the gentle teacher that corrects without condemning. It doesn't rush your recovery, it walks beside you at your pace. It waits with patience that human love cannot imitate. It holds no grudges, no tally of mistakes. Grace simply says, "Let's begin again." And in that voice, every ounce of shame begins to dissolve. You are learning to see grace as more than forgiveness, it is transformation. It does not just wipe the slate clean, it writes a new story with the ashes of the old one. Every failure becomes a foundation stone for deeper faith. Every regret becomes a reminder that you are still in process, still in the potter's hands. In this season, grace teaches you how to rest without retreating. It shows you that peace is not the absence of storms, but the stillness within them. The same grace that met you in your darkest nights will guide you into dawn. It does not fade when the pain fades, it stays. Steady as breath, consistent as sunrise. So when you feel unworthy, remember this: grace already decided your worth long before you doubted it. When you feel unseen, know that grace has been your constant witness. When you feel too broken to pray, remember that grace still speaks your name in heaven's language. You are not standing in your strength, you are standing in grace. And grace never fails. It does not run out. It does not expire. And it never arrives late. It covers what you cannot fix, and it carries what you cannot bear. Even in confusion, you are being carried by something eternal, something that does not depend on your perfection, only your presence. You are here. You are breathing. And that, in itself, is proof that grace has never left you. Grace has written your survival into heaven's story. What once felt like ruin now glows as redemption. You are living evidence that mercy restores and divine love never lets go. There comes a moment when the fog begins to lift, and what once looked like rejection suddenly makes sense. You begin to see that God was not taking from you, He was turning you. What felt like loss was a holy rearranging. Heaven did not destroy your plans, it delivered you from paths that would have destroyed your peace. This is the revelation of redirection. At first, it hurts. You replay every moment, asking, why did it have to end that way? You wanted understanding, but heaven offered peace instead. You wanted control, but God offered trust. Rejection was never about who you weren't, it was about where you didn't belong. When heaven says no, it is protecting you from what your heart isn't built to carry. You didn't see it then, but every door that closed was mercy in motion. The delay you despised was destiny in disguise. What felt like a detour was actually a deliverance. You weren't walking away from something good, you were walking towards something greater. Heaven didn't stop your journey. It simply changed the route. The divine word reminds us in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 31. If God is for us, who can be against us? Those words are not just comfort, they are confirmation. Nothing that has left you could limit what God is building through you. Every step, even the ones that stumbled, were still guided by grace. You thought you lost direction, but heaven was rewriting your coordinates. You were not abandoned, you were adjusted. Every shift was a sacred signal, guiding your heart back to alignment. Sometimes God has to let the wrong things fall apart so the right ones can fit together. The disappointment that once drained you is now developing you. You are becoming unshakable, learning that peace doesn't come from perfection but from perspective. Look closely at your journey. You will see patterns, moments where rejection saved you, where closed doors redirected you, where heartbreak forced you to listen. God has been leaving clues all along, small mercies disguised as missteps. What you called failure, heaven called foundation. Every no was shaping the yes that's on its way. You may still be standing in between what ended and what's about to begin. But don't mistake transition for defeat. The in-between is where faith matures. The space between chapters is where the author breathes, preparing the next sentence that will make everything come alive again. Heaven has not forgotten you. Heaven has been forming you. Chosen one, this is your redirection revelation. You are stepping into the clarity of hindsight, where what once broke you now blesses you. You're beginning to understand why some people had to leave, why some dreams had to die, why some prayers had to be unanswered. It was all divine precision, not divine punishment. Every season you thought wasted has been redeemed. Every delay has been rearranged. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are wiser, steadier, softer, stronger. The confusion that once clouded your mind is now the clarity guiding your steps. God didn't reject you. He rerouted you. If this message reaches the deepest part of your heart, take a sacred moment and mark it. Comment 444 below. That number symbolizes divine alignment, heaven's way of confirming that everything is falling into place, even what once felt misplaced. When you write it, you're declaring I'm aligned again, when it's not a number of superstition but of synchronization, your spirit agreeing with heaven's plan. You don't need to understand every detail to trust the direction. The path may not be straight, but it is sure. The process may not be painless, but it is purposeful. The same God who allowed the detour is guiding you to the destination. Stand tall, even if the ground still shakes beneath your feet. Walk forward, even if you can't yet see the finish line. You, the one who started this work, and you will finish it. You are not lost. You are led. You are not broken. You are being built. You are not rejected. You are being redirected. Soon, you'll look back and realize that the road that confused you was the exact road that completed you. The rejections that hurt you were the reroutes that healed you. The pain that humbled you became the path that holy hands prepared for your promotion. You are the living proof that nothing wasted stays wasted, that everything surrendered becomes sacred. The story is not over, it's only unfolding. What's ahead will make sense of everything behind. You are stepping into the divine rhythm where everything once confusing now connects. What you lost taught you love. What you waited for taught you wisdom. Heaven's redirection was never punishment, it was preparation for promise fulfilled. Pain was never meant to be your prison, it was meant to be your forge. What once wounded you is now being reshaped into a weapon of wisdom. You are beginning to see how every scar carries power, not as a reminder of pain, but as evidence of survival. Heaven has been turning your wounds into weapons, your weakness into witness, and your struggle into strength. Every battle you faced was not random, it was refining. You learned how to stand when you had no strength left, how to pray when the words would not come, how to hope when every reason to hope was gone. You have discovered that the power of a chosen one is not found in perfection, but in perseverance. There were nights when you thought you wouldn't make it through. The darkness felt heavy, the fear suffocating, and the silence endless. Yet somehow, morning still came. Somehow, you found the strength to rise again. That strength did not come from you, it came from heaven within you. The very pain that tried to bury you became the soil that grew your endurance. The ancient truth written in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. That is not merely comfort, it is calling. The moment you thought you were breaking was the exact moment God was building you. You were being stripped of false confidence so that divine confidence could take root. Weakness is not failure. It is fertile ground where God plants strength. Every scar you carry tells a story of survival. Some are visible, others hidden deep within, but all of them have been redeemed. They no longer bleed, they breathe. They speak of a soul that refused to quit, of a faith that refused to die. You are living proof that pain cannot silence purpose. Your story, though marked by loss, is wrapped in resurrection. The same fire that once consumed you now fuels you. The tears that once blurred your vision now sharpen your discernment. The battles that once terrified you now train you. Heaven wastes nothing, not even your suffering. You have learned that victory is not the absence of wounds, but the transformation of them. Every hardship carved depth into you. Every setback rewrote your strength. You now carry an authority that cannot be taught, it must be lived. The enemy that once mocked you now fears the resilience you forged in fire. This is the paradox of the chosen. The very things meant to destroy you became the foundation of your calling. Your empathy now runs deeper because you've known emptiness. Your courage now burns brighter because you've walked through darkness. Your faith now stands firmer because you've felt the tremors of fear and stood anyway. There is power in your story, not because it is perfect, but because it is honest. You have nothing left to prove, only truth left to share. You've learned that healing is not about forgetting what happened, but about remembering it differently. Pain doesn't disappear. It transforms. It becomes purpose. It becomes prophecy. You are no longer a victim of what happened. You are a vessel of what heaven is doing through it. You have moved from bleeding to blessing, from suffering to serving. The wisdom born in your wounds will soon become the balm for someone else's. Your scars are sermons, silent yet powerful testimonies that speak louder than words. Even now, heaven is using what hurt you to help you heal others. You have become a carrier of compassion, someone who knows how to sit beside another's pain and whisper, "I understand." That understanding is holy. It is what turns pain into ministry. The chosen are never defined by what broke them, but by what they became afterward. And you, chosen one, have become a warrior of grace. The wounds that once made you question your worth have become the proof of your anointing. You are the storm survivor, the fire walker, the one who rose from ashes carrying light in both hands. So stand with quiet strength. You have earned the right to speak peace into chaos, to bring hope into heaviness. Your past does not disqualify you, it qualifies you. Heaven trusted you with trials because heaven knew you would turn them into testimony. You are not broken, you are branded by victory. Your scars are sacred signatures of survival, written by a God who never wastes pain. Every mark on your heart is evidence that grace has been here. And soon, when you look back, you'll see it clearly. The same hands that allowed the breaking were the ones holding you steady through it. You have been forged in holy fire, and what emerges from that can never be destroyed. There comes a sacred moment after every storm, the quiet dawn, when light touches the ruins and you realize you've survived. You are no longer the same. The fire changed you. The crushing shaped you, and the tears baptized you into a deeper truth. What once broke you has now built something stronger inside. You are crowned not with gold, but with understanding. Heaven never forgets those who endure the fire. The crown you carry is not placed on your head. It's carved in your spirit. It glows in how you love differently now, how you forgive faster, how you see beauty in what others overlook. Pain taught you reverence. Loss taught you gratitude. You've learned that true royalty in the kingdom of God is not marked by wealth or recognition, but by wisdom and resilience. Crowning moments do not come with applause, they arrive in silence. You do not hear trumpets when it happens. It's quieter than that. It's the peace that settles when you finally accept that everything happened exactly as it needed to. The throne you were destined for is within you. The kingdom you were promised is built upon your surrender. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 10. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Those words describe you. You've been misunderstood, criticized, and sometimes falsely accused, yet you kept walking in integrity. You refused to curse what hurt you, choosing instead to bless what broke you. And in doing so, you crowned yourself with something greater than validation. You crowned yourself with victory. Chosen one. The road to the crown was never paved with ease. It was lined with tears, disappointment, and sacrifice. But every hardship prepared your hands to hold what is holy. The same places that once carried wounds now carry wisdom. The same heart that once trembled now knows peace that cannot be shaken. There were seasons when you felt stripped of everything's status, confidence, direction, but heaven was clothing you in something eternal. The robe of humility fits you better than pride ever did. The weight of glory sits gently because it rests on shoulders that have known burden. You were not diminished in the fire, you were defined by it. To be crowned after the cross means you understand the price of obedience. You know what it costs to follow when it hurts, to love when it's easier to leave, to trust when your heart still trembles. You've walked through the valley with your faith in one hand and your fear in the other, and somehow, faith won. That's what the crown represents, not the absence of fear, but the triumph of faith over it. Every chosen one has a cross before they have a crown. Yours was heavy, but it was holy. You carried pain that no one saw. Yet heaven documented every tear. The cross was never meant to crush you, it was meant to carve your character. You can now comfort others because you've known suffering. You can lift others because you've known what it feels like to fall. The crown you wear now isn't visible, but it changes everything. It shapes how you speak, how you give, how you move through the world. You carry yourself differently, not with arrogance, but with quiet authority. You no longer need to prove who you are, you simply are. The crown rests on those who have learned that surrender is greater than striving. You have become both soft and strong, soft enough to feel, strong enough to stand. The crushing made you compassionate. The crown made you courageous. You are not bitter from the battle, you are better because of it. Heaven crowns those who choose forgiveness over fury, patience over panic, and peace over pride. Every crown comes with weight. But you've learned how to wear it. You no longer stumble under the pressure because you understand that the crown was never meant to glorify you. It was meant to glorify God through you. The victory is not yours alone. It's shared with every moment of surrender that led you here. Look back for a moment. The path that once felt cruel now gleams with purpose. Every trial was a stepping stone, every rejection a redirection, every tear a tool shaping your testimony. You did not lose anything sacred in your suffering, you gained everything eternal. You now walk crowned in unseen glory, clothed in quiet strength. You've been through the cross and emerged with compassion. You've been through the fire and emerged with faith. You wear your story not as shame, but as splendor. And one day, when heaven unveils all that has been written about your journey, you'll see that the crown was never placed upon your head by human hands. It was woven by divine love, thread by thread, through every trial you overcame. There is a sacred moment when the story turns, when everything that once opposed you begins to make sense. You start to see how every shadow carried light, how every wound was really an opening, how even the rejection was grace-wearing disguise. This is the season of restoration and recognition. What you lost will not only return, it will return transformed. The same people who once doubted you will witness what God has done through you. But you will not meet their eyes with pride. You will meet them with peace. Because by now, you've learned that vindication is not revenge, it's revelation. God doesn't prove you right by punishing others. He proves you right by prospering your purpose. There is a gentle justice in how heaven restores. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It moves quietly like dawn after a storm. Those who wrote you off will watch you rise, not in arrogance but in grace. You will shine not to shame them but to show them what faith looks like when it's been refined by fire. The living word reveals in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25. I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. That promise belongs to you. What was consumed by loss, time, and betrayal will be returned not in the same form, but in a higher one. The years you thought wasted were only seeds planted in hidden soil, waiting for this moment to bloom. Heaven has not forgotten your faithfulness. Every tear was a deposit, and now the harvest is ready. Chosen one, you are walking into a season where heaven reveals the purpose behind the pain. The waiting wasn't wasted, it was weaving. The silence wasn't empty, it was sacred. Everything is being returned in divine measure. What felt like endings are unfolding as introductions. Restoration is not coming to your life, it has already begun within you. Now, if this message reaches something deep inside you, pause for a breath of gratitude. You don't need to force a response. Simply let your spirit nod. And if you feel led, take one small symbolic action, a gesture that mirrors your agreement with this truth. Like this message as though you were lighting a candle on the windowsill of your heart, telling heaven, I'm still here, still grateful. It's not about numbers, it's about remembrance. Share it as one might release a lantern into the night sky, carrying light to someone still lost in darkness. You never know whose world your small act might illuminate. Subscribe not as a formality, but as a choice to stay near the stream, to keep your heart close to words that remind you who you are when the world grows noisy. Let every new message find you like a letter from heaven arriving on time. And if your spirit feels a gentle pull to give, follow it freely, without pressure. Donate as one might plant wildflowers along a path they may never walk again. Do it because beauty deserves to continue. Do it because you know how it feels to be found by light when you needed it most. Your giving is not a duty. It's devotion, a way to keep the garden of these messages blooming for others who will come after you. And when this message touches something sacred inside you, leave a comment, a single line, a small reflection, a whisper of what this word meant to you. It could be gratitude, a prayer, or just a phrase like I understand. Think of it as dropping a pebble into still water. You never know how far the ripples of your honesty will travel. But even if you never give a coin or write a word, your presence here already matters. Your listening heart keeps the fire alive. Your quiet amen in the dark is fuel enough. What makes this space sacred is not money, it's meaning. It's the way heaven speaks through one heart to reach another. Soon, the same voices that once questioned your worth will witness your restoration. Yet your greatest satisfaction won't come from being seen. It will come from knowing you never gave up. You stayed faithful when no one understood. You trusted when nothing made sense. And now, heaven honors that endurance. Restoration is not a reward, it is a reflection. You are not being paid back, you are being elevated. The story is not closing, it's crowning. Every loss has found its lesson, every detour its destination. You stand now in the gentle aftermath of redemption. Look at you still standing, still shining, still chosen. The storm did not destroy you, it delivered you. The waiting did not waste you, it watered you. And now, heaven's recognition rests quietly over your life like sunlight over a garden after rain. When the noise of the world begins to fade, and the weight of striving finally lifts, something sacred begins to happen within you. You start to walk in divine alignment. It is the quiet rhythm between your heart and heaven's will. The unforced harmony that comes when you stop chasing what was never meant for you. Alignment is not about control, it's about surrender. It is the peace that comes when your will and God's will finally move as one. There were years you lived by effort, pushing, planning, proving. You thought progress meant constant motion, that success was measured by what you could achieve. But heaven has been teaching you a softer way, a way of flow instead of fight. Divine alignment does not demand exhaustion, it requires awareness. It is the art of listening more than striving, of trusting more than trying. When you walk in alignment, doors open naturally, not because you force them, but because you've become the kind of person who fits the key. The path no longer feels heavy because you are no longer dragging things not meant for you. Every step feels lighter because grace has become your pace. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 37, verse 23. The steps of a good person are ordered by the Lord, and He delights in their way. That verse captures the mystery of divine rhythm. Your life is not a random walk, it's a dance choreographed by unseen hands. Even the missteps were not mistakes, they were redirections that kept you in tempo with destiny. Every delay, every disappointment, every sudden change in direction was a divine footstep teaching you trust. Alignment does not mean a life without storms, it means peace within them. It means you can face uncertainty without fear because you know who guides your path. It means you can stop comparing your journey to others because you finally understand that your timing is tailor-made. What feels delayed in your world is perfectly timed in heaven's calendar. There is power in learning to move when heaven moves, to pause when heaven pauses. You are no longer fighting the current, you are flowing with it. Every time you chose patience over panic, you stepped deeper into alignment. Every time you trusted instead of controlling, you were moving closer to peace. Look back for a moment and see how far you've come. You used to run ahead of God, anxious to reach the finish line. Now you walk beside Him, content to let each step unfold. You've learned that the joy is not only in the arrival, but in the journey itself. Walking in divine alignment means you stop forcing things to fit. You no longer cling to what has expired or chase what resists your reach. You understand that what is meant for you will find you when you are ready, not when you are restless. Alignment brings rest to your spirit and clarity to your vision. It is a quiet strength, no loud victories, no anxious striving, just a steady knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. Heaven's timing has become your timing. Heaven's pace has become your peace. Chosen one, you are learning the language of flow. You move now not from fear, but from faith. You speak not from impulse, but from insight. You listen before you leap, and you trust before you see. This is the fruit of your transformation, the ability to move with grace, not against it. You've come through rejection, through wilderness, through fire, and each season tuned your heart closer to heaven's frequency. You no longer need to understand everything to feel safe. You simply rest in the truth that nothing guided by God can fail. This alignment is not a destination, it is a lifestyle. It's the daily decision to let heaven lead. It's the quiet yes that opens the way when logic says no. It's the peace that guards your heart when plans shift unexpectedly. It's waking up each day and saying, "Guide my steps, Lord, even if I don't see where they land." And so, you walk now in rhythm with something greater than yourself. You've traded chaos for calm, panic for peace, reaction for reflection. The path no longer feels like a maze, it feels like a melody. Every turn sings purpose, every pause hums grace. You are walking in divine alignment. And because of that, nothing can truly be lost, nothing wasted, nothing without meaning. You have become the living proof that surrender is strength and that peace is the highest form of power. There is a moment when everything you've walked through begins to shine with meaning. The heartbreaks, the silences, the waiting, the wounds. Suddenly, you understand that nothing was random. Every step had purpose. Every detour was direction. Every tear was transformation. You are standing now in the quiet revelation of redemption, the return of the redeemed. You are not who you once were. The same pain that once weakened you has become your proof of strength. The same rejection that once crushed you now reminds you that you were never meant to fit where you once tried to belong. The journey through darkness has taught you to recognize light not as the absence of shadow, but as its companion. You carry both now pain and peace, loss and love, and they coexist beautifully within you. Heaven has rewritten your story. The parts that once made you ashamed have become the chapters others will find hope in. The things that almost destroyed you became the testimonies that will sustain others. What you thought was the end was the beginning of something eternal, the unfolding of purpose through perseverance. The ancient words in the book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 7. Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion, and instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. And so you will inherit a double portion in your land, and everlasting joy will be yours. Those words are no longer prophecy, they are fulfillment. You have lived the exchange ashes for beauty, mourning for joy, captivity for calling. Heaven has given you double for what you lost, not in material form, but in meaning. You have become richer in compassion, deeper in wisdom, steadier in faith. This is what redemption looks like. It is not about returning to what was, but about being transformed into what could only exist after loss. Redemption doesn't erase the past, it redeems it. It turns every mistake into a message, every failure into fuel. You are not returning to who you were before the pain, you are rising as who you were always meant to be. Look around your life now. The people, the peace, the stillness, it's all different. It feels quieter but fuller. The noise of proving yourself is gone. The rush to be understood has faded, and you are content to be whole, not busy. You are content to walk in grace, not grind in guilt. This is the power of redemption. You stop running from what happened and begin to walk with what it made you. You have walked through the valley and come out carrying light. You have faced storms and now hold peace in the palm of your hand. You have known what it feels like to lose everything and still find yourself in God's embrace. And in that embrace, you found rest, a peace that doesn't depend on outcomes, a joy that doesn't demand explanation. Chosen one. This is your inheritance, the unshakable calm of one who knows they are held. You no longer ask, "Why me?" You now whisper, "Thank you." You see now that the hand that took also gave, that the silence was never absence, that even the pain had purpose. You have become both the question and the answer, both the wound and the wonder. Redemption doesn't shout, it hums through your life quietly. It's in the laughter that returned after long silence. It's in the hope that rises each morning even when the past still lingers. It's in the simple joy of being here, still breathing, still believing. Heaven calls this your restoration hour. The years you thought were stolen are being returned not as they were, but as they were meant to be. The people you're meant to walk with are finding you. The places you're meant to stand in are opening. What you once chased is now arriving. You are the evidence that God finishes what He starts. The journey has refined you, not ruined you. Every loss turned into a lesson. Every delay became direction. Every rejection revealed your redirection. Or you stand now as a living testimony that heaven never wastes a soul willing to surrender. So rest in this truth: you have returned, not to who you were, but to who you were always meant to be: whole, healed, and holy. The circle has closed. The season has completed. What began in pain has ended in purpose. What began in tears has ended in triumph. And what began in loss has ended in light. You are the return of the redeemed, the one who walked through rejection and came out radiant, the one who faced the fire and now carries the flame, the one who was never rejected, only redirected until every path led home. If these words have found you, if they've stirred something deep within you, then perhaps that was never coincidence, it was timing. Heaven always knows when to speak and whom to reach. You didn't arrive here by accident, your spirit was guided. Every sentence you've read has been a mirror of your own journey, reminding you that you were never rejected, you were always being redirected toward light. And now, as this message settles in your heart, take a moment to breathe and let gratitude rise quietly within you. If something in these words felt like home, let your response be gentle and genuine. Like this message, not as a gesture to an algorithm, but as an act of gratitude, a small way of saying, I receive this. Share it as one might release a paper boat down a stream, not knowing where it will go, but trusting that it will find someone standing on the other shore who needs to see it float by. If your heart feels aligned with this voice, subscribe not as a duty, but as an open door. Think of it as keeping a lantern lit in the window, so that the next time heaven whispers through words like these, your heart will hear it first. And if this message has poured into you, and you feel called to pour back, donate freely, not out of pressure, but out of purpose. Giving here is like watering a field whose harvest you may never see, but whose fruit will feed someone else's hope. It's not obligation, it's overflow. Finally, when this word touches your spirit, leave a comment, a sentence, a thought, even a quiet "I understand." Consider it your echo into eternity, proof that light passed through you. You are part of something sacred now, a flow of words, faith, and grace that keeps growing because hearts like yours keep it alive.